the second week in a row that I've been given free reign to go crazy. Welcome, everyone, to Undisputed Nerds, a light-hearted look at this week's comic book, entertainment, movie, news, TV, and all that other kind of jazz things that we do. I am the Gentlemanly Gamer. I am officially 4 episodes up on Zane now. He has dropped out for 4 episodes since we've been doing this. I am loving my life, and in an effort to make it even better, we have the returning Drac to help me co-host. Say hello, Drac.
Hello, viewers. Hello, all. I'll be choosing to take a heavy-hearted look today at things, so, no light-heartedness today, unfortunately.
Oh, he's heavy-hearted. Oh, he's emotional. I was going to ask you how you're doing this week, Drac. How are you? You may or may not be a little bit jet-lagged. Is that correct?
May or may not be. Most definitely am. Yes, thank you very much, but I am going to keep it together for the purposes of this beautiful podcast. I'm happy to be
pulling it in professionally, ladies and gentlemen. He's pulling it in. Yes. Have you had good travels? Were the travels entertaining? I haven't actually spoken to you since you've been back from your travels properly.
I know. It's been outrageous, but it's only been like 3 days, so you're forgiven. But yes, it was great. Thank you. Always lovely to be away. Really needed it. And fingers crossed that'll stay with me for a little while. How are you, good sir?
Oh, I'm moving and shaking. I'm recovering from a horrific cold virus thing that I got, which I thought was the dreaded Big C, because I no, not that. Not that. No, I thought it was the other one, the other big virus that's been going around, because I lost my sense of taste and smell completely for like 4 days. It was very strange. It's very disconcerting when you lose that, and when you don't smell toast. Say again, sorry.
You've never had any taste, girl.
Yeah, that's charming. Jesus, wow.
I'll never do that again. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. The campness that came out of you then, it's like it rivals my own. But yeah, no. I'm other than that, I'm doing fine. What I've been doing, I've binged through the entire Stranger Things season 4.
Brilliant.
The stuff that's out already. So I won't drop any spoilers, guys. But I will say, probably my favorite season.
I'm only about 5 episodes in, and it is also one of my favorite seasons as well. So I'll back you up on that one.
I'm not sure about the writing of Elle in the first couple of episodes was a little bit wobbly, I thought, but apart from that, it's been really good, really, really good. Vecna's amazing, man. I love conceptually speaking, it's like just having a little Nightmare on Elm Street baddie in Stranger Things was great. So yeah, loving it. Absolutely loving it. Go and check out our preview of season 4 that we did last week with Rinsler. But this week, what we're doing this week, Drac? Well, we're going to be talking about, as you listen to this, guys, it should have been released the first 3 episodes already, I believe. But The Boys, season 3, it is coming out. It is happening. It's all going on. Things are happening, moving and shaking. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Anyway. We're going to do a little preview and a prediction for where we think some of the storylines are going to go this season. Just going into some details about some of the stuff that we have happening. I'm going to have to get a towel down for the drool that will happen for Drac when he starts talking about Jensen Ackles.
Okay,
see,
sure.
Look how excited you got. Look at that.
Never been a natural person myself.
Really? There you go. Okay, well, there you go. All right, well, that's
what's the name of the other guy that was in that one? That's always, I think the long hair. It's more of a.
Nobody remembers the other guy. Nobody ever remembers the other guy. Why would you ask that? Everyone only remembers Jensen Ackles. The other. That's exactly the reason why you said, "What's the name of the other guy?" That's basically his acting name.
And he's also been in a really bad car crash recently as well. So now I feel bad for not remembering his name, and I hope that makes you feel bad as well. I can see that look all over your face. And in your brows.
Drac's here to bring it up, folks. He's hitting us with the highs.
Coming at you with the heavy-heartedness.
Exactly.
Every time I'm an actor, I'm going to bring up the worst thing that has ever happened to them.
Well, good. That's great. This is going to be a long episode then. Jeez. Okay. So...
The guy who played Homelander recently arrested for a barroom brawl in Australia.
We did cover that on the cover that on the show, yeah. But let's not bring up Ezra Miller. Anyway, so We're going to do, before we do any of that though, before we do any of the boys, we've got our regularly recurring segments. So we'll be doing tips and bits soon. But first, it is time, Drac, it is time to say, what is all the rage with Nicolas Cage?
Oh, it's my first time.
How to get burned? How to get burned? How to get burned? How to get burned? I don't know.
How to get burned? How to get burned? How to get burned?
Oh, I love it. Absolutely
Right, so
love
for those of you who are not familiar with this segment and are new to the podcast, I'm sorry. But also, what we do is in the What's All the Rage with Nicolas Cage, we go through the bizarre life of Nicolas Cage and talk about some of the things that he's done in reality that we find unbelievably hard to believe, but they're true. They are true. So what I'll do is I will read out this headline to you, Drac. I'll get your reaction to it, and then I'll go into some more detail about the story, all right?
Okay.
You ready for this?
Oh, never.
All right. Nicolas Cage once got a pet octopus to help him out with his acting.
Okay, cool. Right.
So,
the name of the octopus?
Well, we'll go into the story. I haven't got the name of the octopus, unfortunately, but so, what we'll do is... So Nicolas Cage has bought over 50 cars, 2 islands, a handful of yachts, a castle, a jet, and a dinosaur skull. Those are all facts.
No, he can't money.
No, he really has. He really, like, we covered before on the show about how he bought the dinosaur skull and then he had to have it. He spent like $250,000 on it, I think, and then he had to give it back to a museum because it was apparently stolen.
I think I
but
remember
apparently he's also bought an octopus. So, as part of what was allegedly a $276,000 spending spree, he got 2 poisonous king cobras and an octopus. His excuse for buying the octopus was that it would actually help him with his acting.
Was it a drumming role?
I thought he would like, oh god, that'd be me. Yeah, he was auditioning for Miles Teller in Whiplash. Unfortunately, what he didn't understand is that there were some tax laws that meant he couldn't fully purchase the octopus 100%. And there is no word on what exactly the octopus helped him with when it comes to his acting role. But bearing in mind, this is also the same man who has admitted in an interview that he's taken magic mushrooms with his cat. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on this, Drag? Would you, again, another deep dive into the insight of Nicolas Cage potentially having a breakdown and talking to animals? But what are your thoughts on what role he went for with that pet octopus?
I don't really know. I'm still stuck on the name of the octopus. Like this seems to. Or is it like one of those situations where you adopt an animal like through the zoo? And yet you're not really adopting it. You might just be contributing towards its kibble.
Possibly. Yeah, what, Nicolas Cage wandering around an owl sanctuary somewhere. I'll adopt that one. I'll adopt that one. I want that one, and that one. Yeah, possibly. Quite possibly. Yeah, it's just another amazing story about Nicolas Cage's ridiculous spending habits. So there you go.
Feeling is it was probably for the role of Tim Burton's Superman.
Yes, because octopuses are alien, aren't they?
I mean, Starro, kind of. Starfish.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no,
you couldn't get a starfish. Went for the next best seaborne animal.
I think it was for that incredible piece of work, Knowing, that he was in.
I like that film. That wasn't too bad, really.
You like that film?
I don't think it was too bad.
Okay.
That's the one where there's like a mathematical prediction or something, right, for the next catastrophic chain of events, and then it ends with meeting aliens. I think
it's the Scientology thing. It's the end of the world, and then they meet aliens. I think it's the prediction of Scientology at the end of the world, of them being them saving us.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't his son get on the plane or on the plane? What am I on about?
It's funny. It's funny you say that because there is a plane crash, and it's that amazing famous scene when there's a man running on fire for his life, and Nicolas Cage, rather than helping him, decides to yell "Hey!" really loudly at him.
And the guy's just like, hey, yeah, you want a sandwich?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's going to stop Nick somehow, but there you go. All right, so there you go. That's all the rage with Nicolas Cage this week.
I need to rewatch that.
Yeah, you will have to rewatch that. So, well, we shall continue. We'll continue with a little. I'll use this point to do a little break for a message from our sponsors, which I'm assuming that Zane has not put in already. So here's a message from our sponsors. Zane, did you know that I love to surf?
No, I didn't.
I know, it's amazing. You'd never believe it looking at me, but I am an avid surfer. Not of the sea, though. Oh, no. I am a surfer of the World Wide Web, my friend. And let me tell you something. When I go surfing, I definitely need some protection. Not the usual kind of wetsuit, though. I need some VPN. Do you know what VPN means, Zane?
I don't. What's a VPN?
Well, it would be a virtual private network, and let me tell you, we here at Undisputed Nerds are being sponsored this week, and a big thank you to the episode sponsor, Surfshark VPN. You can get Surfshark VPN 83% off and 3 months free, Zane, if you go to surfshark.deals/Undisputed Nerds and enter in the promo code Undisputed Nerds. Surfshark VPN lets you trick your device into thinking it's in another country, which opens up a whole world of content library, Zane. So think about it this way. If you're in the UK, you can watch US Netflix, which has a far bigger selection of movies. You can get all of your Batfleck content that I know you love, Zane. I know you're looking for. If you're outside of the UK as well, you can watch amazing apps like BBC iPlayer. And if you're in the US, you can finally get access back to the old WWE Network with its far superior functionality. We've been using, me and Zane have been using Surfshark here at Undisputed Nerds for a while. It is our official VPN, and it doesn't just let us gain access to all the comic book movies, but it also secures our networks by encrypting internet traffic, keeping our location and download history private. Thankfully, so that people can't see me purchasing wetsuits. My favorite feature on the Surfshark, it knows when my phone leaves a trusted connection, like my home or work internet, and it immediately turns on to prevent interference. It's like having, I don't know, Batfleck's Justice League for your phone, Zane.
I know exactly what you mean.
And I know you've got a lot of Batfleck on your phone right now. So sign up to Surfshark today by using our link in the video description below, surfshark.deals/Undisputed Nerds, where you'll get, again, 83% off and your first 3 months free if you use the code Undisputed Nerds. We really appreciate if you just at least check them out, as they're a great company and we love working with them. Support Undisputed Nerds and support your internet privacy with Surfshark. And now we're going into The Boys, Season 3. So, it is... Season 3 is here. It is happening. It's been a long time coming, Drac. It's been a long, long time. It's been a whole year since we last encountered The Boys.
Da Boys. And my goodness,
This show, it always promises, let's just say, a lot of shocks. And a lot of good acting, because I love Carl Urban in this. I think he's fantastic. And I can never remember the guy's name. I know he's Meg Ryan's kid, but the guy who plays Huey, I think, is excellent as well. And I'm going to try and find out his name so that I don't do him a disservice.
Randy Quaid, I want to say, is that, or is it someone Quaid? Jack Quaid, isn't it?
Jack Quaid, that's it. It's Jack Quaid. It's Randy Quaid's kid, isn't it? Yes, Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid and Meg Ryan's kid. Yes, Jack Quaid. Yeah, he's always really good in this as well. And Elaine Moriarty, who's Starfire in it as well. She's really good. So, where did we leave off? Sorry, at the end of season 2. Well, there was a Nazi, wasn't there?
there was one of them. One of them. They're everywhere.
Yes. So the seven kind of regrew, and they added a new member in the shape of Stormfront, who was down with the vlogging, and then turned out was a secret white supremacist with Nazi links, and turned out that she was exactly the kind of lady that Homelander can get with, and they got with a lot. And then the end of the series, where she was left was in a big old pile of meat after Homelander's son Frido with his X Vision, with his laser powers, Drac.
Alive, but alive.
But alive. She is alive. Speaking German, but alive. I don't think that's going to last. Personally, I don't think she's going to. I don't think she's going to be in this season. But anyway, carrying on forward from that. So Billy Butcher in season 2 found his wife. He'd been looking for her for a long time after he found out that she was alive at the end of season 1. She had Homelander's child. Homelander's child is superpowered, just like Homelander. Homelander was reeling from the events of him killing Madeline in the first season, and just basically being a freaking weirdo the whole time.
One milky boy.
He is a milky boy. He loves mama's milk, doesn't he?
He's the milky boy.
He is the Milky Bar Kid. That is correct. What else happened in season 2? Blimey. So
they got the sample of V and they released that. So everyone.
Yeah, so V is the compound V is now out there in the world. It is now known to the public that this is how superheroes get their powers. Starlight and Huey's relationship kind of kept going. The kind of ups and downs. They're not really together, but they're kind of working with each other. But then they are kind of together. It's on and on again, off again romance. Let's see what else. We got Lamplighter was introduced and then immediately killed himself. What else happened? Drac?
I think A-Train still has heart problems.
That was it. Yeah, so A-Train is now back on the 7 after his successful Scientology-esque encounter with the Church of whatever it's called, as well as the Deep is not back on the 7 but has quit the church because he was very furious with them. The biggest reveal at the end of season 2 was that there was a mysterious assassin that was working its way through season 2, who was popping heads the whole way, and nobody really knew who it was, but we all assumed it was Stormfront. And it turned out it wasn't. It was actually one of the senators who's responsible for superhuman affairs, and has created a special, I don't know whether it's a charity or whether it's a special branch of government to handle superhuman affairs. And Huey is her first employee. He signs up immediately. And then it's revealed when she kills the leader of the church, who's going to reveal a bunch of secrets at the end of the episode. It's revealed that she's the one who's doing the head popping, and she herself is a super. So there's loads of threads that are kind of like flapping around at the end of season 2 that we assume will lead into season 3. So there's been quite a few trailers. We're going to look at the core trailer that was released, the longest one, and the final. I think it's called the final trailer, the boys' final season 3 trailer, and talk through some of that as far as kind of the events that's happening in it. Is there anything you wanted to add, Drac, before we get into the old breakdown?
No, nothing too much. I could talk a little bit more about that particular character when we get around to it in the comparison to real life. But yeah, let's do Trailer Boy first.
Cool. So, as far as the trailer's concerned, so we get Homelander's kind of doing the press tour for this Dawn of the 7 film, I guess. It's it's literally like a Justice League ripoff, isn't it, effectively? And it looks like we've got this guy Cameron Coleman, who's effectively like the far right Fox News editor guy for this world, basically interviewing Homelander, and they're trying to do damage control effectively for Stormfront and all of the bad times that came out from the revelations of the old Vort's former wife, who used to be a Nazi, and all this other kind of jazz. So it's basically more of Homelander being, leaning into his public perception of him is very different to what he's actually like in reality. Not much to talk about here, obviously. She got burnt to a crisp by Homelander's son at the end of season 2, so we don't see anything for it. So you're just going back to what you were talking about earlier on. You think that she's still alive, do you?
Yeah, I mean, the showrunners and the writers said as much not long after season 2 ended. They basically wanted to put a point on the fact that she is still kicking, or actually she's not. She hasn't got any legs anymore. So maybe she's head but yeah, she's around. But whether or not they use her heavily in this season, I don't know. Maybe they're keeping her in reserve for another season. That storyline's kind of played out, so maybe there'll be something coming up in season 4. I couldn't particularly tell you. The character in the comics is male and an authentic Nazi, and they again kind of like commuted some of the character ideas there, but I think they did a really, really good job of adapting Stormfront for the live show. But yeah, she's around. I like the actress. I think she did really well. Could be.
She was great. Like she was a really good addition. It was nice to see somebody else kind of like. There was obviously a level of humanity to her that Homelander doesn't have necessarily, but also just still an absolute maniac, and a real like proper maniac. The flaws were very clear, but she was really good. I look forward to seeing her coming back in some capacity at least. There is a scene later on in the trailer where we see it's kind of like Homelander's lying on a bed, and it's like a blood patch on the bed itself. In the trailer, and he's obviously very upset, and the theory potentially is that's where she was in the hospital, and then she's obviously snuffed it, or something has happened there, whether it's Madeline Stillwell's hospital bed or whatever, or who knows, but there's something where it's like he's clearly upset over somebody dying on the bed, and he seemed to be very, very into Stormfront. So yeah, who knows? As far as the trailer's concerned, moving on, it says there's something wrong with. We hear a voiceover of Starlight saying there's something wrong with Homelander. It's something broken. He's lost his effing mind. Assumingly, that is after the events of losing Madeline and then losing Stormfront has obviously sent him. He does have he's got a bit of a mama's complex, hasn't he? Old Homelander. He does love the milk.
He does. Yeah, the Milky Bar Kid is strong and tough. No, yeah, definitely. I think obviously there's lighting and editing and everything in the trailer, but the actor Anthony, can't remember his surname, has that psychotic look down pat, and you can see how much more disheveled he is, like in that trailer, and what they're trying to kind of get across to you, like in the change of his character, and it's getting more along the lines of what we know of Homelander in the comics, actually, as well, historically. Comics now,
Anthony Starr, by the way, is his name.
Thank you very much, Anthony Starr. Great reverse flash casting, just so you know. But yeah, I think they're pushing him like fully off the edge now, which is really what the kind of end game of Homelander was in the comics. And obviously, we're nowhere near the end yet. We certainly hope there's going to be, at least 2 or 3 more seasons. What's happening?
Why would you? Why are you creating like a Bad Boys film of like Ezra Miller and Anthony Starr together?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do when
the herd on board as well? It'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, I think it all looks really wicked. I'm super looking forward to the season. And yeah, God, there's so much to talk about. I don't even want to kind of get into it just in case.
Yeah, let's move forward a little bit with the so obviously we then see in the trailer we see Homelander, his lactophilia is in full overdrive as he's milking a cow.
Did you look that up?
No, I just know what it's called for no reason. But yeah, somebody did point out that it was the original season 3 trailer was flagged for content more than 20 million times.
Wow.
And they are surprised how many times that or wondering how many times the orgasm milk scene where Homelander is clearly excited to milk a cow, wondering how many times that got flagged. But yeah, we then get the shot of him on the bed with the blood stain, and obviously it's kind of like nobody really knows who that's for, but he does seem very, very upset.
Could be a reference.
Say again, sorry?
Could be a hero-gasm reference.
I don't think so. Not from this shot. No, it looks too. It doesn't. It looks too. No.
Sad.
No, it doesn't look like it. So then, moving on, Billy Butcher we get a shot of him seeing his well, not his son, but Homelander's son. The boy is technically not his son; it's Ryan. It's the son of his late wife Becca, and seems to be out on in the wilderness, out in the middle of nowhere. But it looks like he's kind of living his life and being protected. Obviously, Ryan's the first natural-born superhero. He doesn't need Compound V anymore, or anymore at all. And yeah, it seems like he's kind of like, I don't know how much Ryan will actually be involved in this series, whether Homelander knows where Ryan is, because obviously Homelander blames Ryan for Becca's death, and obviously for doing what he did to Stormfront as well. Not sure. We also find out that Butcher is working for Huey as well, which is a bit of a flip. In the Federal Bureau of Superhuman Affairs, that was the thing that I was trying to remember what the name of it was. And he's no longer drinking, fighting, or doing vigilante justice, at least for now, at the beginning of the season, it seems. So, do you reckon we'll see Ryan quite a lot in this season, or based on your knowledge of the comics and where it goes, do you think we'll see him a lot, or will he just be kind of like a background character, effectively?
Yeah, I don't know is the short answer, but the Ryan character doesn't exist in the comics. Okay. There is no like surrogate son or anything. There is in some way, because Becca's wife dies giving birth to a superhuman child, which then shortly dies afterwards as well. So that is really like the only reference to that particular character. But literal baby we're talking about here. So there was never any name or any character building or anything of that. Very intense, traumatic moment on panel that I can't really say the words out loud because this is YouTube. But be prepared.
Or whatever you're listening to it on.
Or whatever you listen to it on. But I would highly recommend you read these comics, definitely for 18s and over, minimum. And do be prepared to, see some quite shocking things. However, the storytelling is phenomenal. And, Garth Ennis, who obviously does a lot of Punisher as well, for those who might not be aware, fantastic writer, wholeheartedly recommend.
Yeah, Punisher Max is one of the best runs ever, so read that if you get the chance. So yeah, moving on with the trailer then, we get Mother's Milk is back with his family. His daughter's having a birthday. She's dressed as Starlight, so Starlight's obviously kind of extremely popular as part of the Seven now. Giancarlo Esposito is back. He is back as Stan Edgar. He is amazing in everything he's in, and I love him. I'm just finishing Better Call Saul season 5, the last one, whatever it is, and he's just brilliant. It's just so good. I'm calling it right now, by the way. Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad. There, I said it. I'm calling it. So we get more shots of Homelander. His fan base is fierce. He seems to be really leaning into the far right fan base, who are really like fervently going for him in every kind of way. There's still Stormfront supporters out there. We get shots of kind of 7-on-7, which is like this, Fox News-esque show, like showing the best of the Seven. There's even a show. I'm sorry, your mic cut out then, Drake. What did you say?
Oh, which is a YouTube channel as well. They've also been putting the News Network on YouTube. You can find lots of minis there if you want to check it out, guys.
Yes. It's funny because in the trailer you actually see the from the January 6th in real life, the January 6th insurrection in the Capitol. You see the Viking horned guy in the trailer as part of the group that's cheering on Homelander. So it lets you know exactly where they're putting his particular brand of politics. So we then get a cut back to a shot of the one and only Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy with a rocket launcher. And I think that Soldier Boy is one of the most hotly anticipated additions to this season. I think he is basically Captain America, but the boys' version of Captain America. He's one of Voight's, Voight, I can never say the corporation's name.
John Voight.
Voight, yeah, John Voight. It's one of John Voight's first superheroes. And just like Homelander's a riff on Superman. He's a riff on Captain America. Soldier Boy, apparently, now I only read up to the point where in the books I've not read past. There was a horrible with is it Tech Knight? Is it Tech Knight? His story.
I mean, I know who Tech Knight is. I don't think there was any connection with Soldier Boy there. Really, they might have been on the same.
They're on the same team. I think they're on the whatever they're called. The version of the Avengers, which I can't remember. It's not Revenge. It's Vengeance Squad or whatever it's called.
I can't remember. It's been too long for me to remember that particular detail, I'm afraid. But
I'll try to find out in a bit.
Those two characters is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, there's a chasm between the two of them. One is a pervert.
They're both perverts. Let's get that clear.
That's true. Anyway, Soldier Boy is very morally ambiguous. But he probably will not be very heroic. However, have you got any particular hot takes on Soldier Boy? Go on. I can see the look on your face.
No, I mean, I think it's a great addition to the cast. I think that Stormfront and Ryan will take a bit more of a backseat because of this character, because he's like the new blood. And they are adapting him from the comics, but not, I would say, like, one of the least authentically, in the sense that, yes, he is a Captain America caricature, but in the comics, you have the original Soldier Boy who dies during the Second World War, and then you kind of have, like, a modern-day Soldier Boy, who is completely unrelated, but has just used the same moniker as this guy, who does at one point get quite intimate with Homelander. So whether or not we see that, I don't know. I would say no, judging by from what their relationship looks like in this series. Yeah. The main comment I have on this one is from the trailer. He is a Captain America clone. However, if you pause the trailer and you look a bit closer, it looks like he has some kind of explosive ability that like comes from his chest. So he's not running, jumping, climbing trees kind of thing. It seems like could be like a living bomb to a certain point.
Interesting.
Which would make him like, up on Homelander's level rather than just have someone who's sort of like a bit strong. And I also think that they've adapted him from the Vietnam War as opposed to the World Wars. And if he is some kind of like human bomb, again, I think that adds into the kind of political commentary and everything about him being like a walking bomb. Like that's a public issue. And everything Payback
is the team I was thinking of. Yes, Payback,
which definitely makes sense. And with slight, keeping on to the right wing ideas and everything here. There is another shot in the trailer I noticed with Homelander, and it looks like during that time that he's like being celebrated in the street that he drops someone publicly from a great height, killing them, and then the crowd cheers. And to me, obviously this isn't a political show, but there's that famous comment from Donald Trump where he says that he could kill someone or shoot a gun or whatever in the middle of New York and he would get cheered and everything for it. I think that is the exact same kind of moment they are going for. Right? They're basically showing you that people are on Homelander's side, which will drive him to be more psychotic and more violent. And, how Soldier Boy plays into that, I don't know, but we'll see.
Well, leading into your theory about there being obviously the two Soldier Boys, in the trailer there's a shot of some Vought paperwork, and there's a memo about Raymond I can never say the name, Patriarcha, and anti-racketeering fronts, along with a photo of it looks like Soldier Boy in his old costume. Patriarcha was a real life gangster, the leader of the Patriarcha crime family in Rhode Island. There's a theory that possibly that's the original Soldier Boy, and then the Jensen Ackles version is like going to style himself off of this hero, and that that's how they link it into this. And then maybe that's it could be that Homelander finds out that this guy is actually an a racketeering guy, and gets all confused and kills the guy. Anyway, regardless, moving on. The exciting thing one of the really exciting things that we've been wanting to see since this show started is, we mentioned it, Compound V is out and about now. Billy Butcher, he goes full on super in this one. He gets the old laser eyes. there's a quick sequence with Maeve giving Butcher some small green vials, and it looks a lot like the Compound V. Basically, there's the explanation that they'll make someone super for 24 hours. We do get a shot of like Butcher throwing up as well, which I don't know whether that is, maybe that's like an immediate aftermath of the 24 hours or whatever. But Maeve suggests that they use it to blow Homelander's effing brains out, which means that she's working with Butcher and the boys to at least some degree. And yeah, it's leveling the playing field basically for the boys, so they'll be able to actually have a throwdown. Are you excited to see the big bust up between Homelander and Billy Butcher finally? I think we all are.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's going to be an amazing fight, even if it's very brief, and we know that it's not going to be the end of their conflict, like one way or the other. Again, just to bring the comics knowledge back in the comics, they are all superpowered anyway, all the boys. They all get a version of Compound B that is diluted, that gives them permanent superpowers. However, it's kind of like the Captain America thing where they're faster, stronger, X, Y, and Z. They're all exactly the same. No one's got any, laser beams from their eyes or anything like that. So obviously they're paying homage to the comics without making it a permanent feature of the TV show, and obviously drawing a direct comparison between Butcher and Homelander by giving them essentially the same powers, right? Like even if Butcher can't fly, everything else is basically the same as Homelander. So they're obviously trying to now draw that comparison between the characters about how similar they are, and they're sort of psychotic in their own ways. Even if their ways of achieving it are entirely different.
Yeah, I guess they kind of have to, because they've made Homelander this indestructible. He is literally Superman, but evil. But like. You need to have an equality in terms of power levels, so that there at least can be some kind of a fight instead of it just being like he'll just blink and kill them. So it's good. We get like another shot of like a building absolutely decimated and destroyed, which we're assuming is a fight like post them souping up, and maybe it's a battle between the two of them. The interesting thing I did notice about this, and I wonder how much it'll play into it, is that because one of the next scenes we get the introduction of the Crimson Countess, played by Laurie Holden, from loads of stuff, including Walking Dead. Obviously, Crimson Countess is kind of like Scarlet Witch, basically. It's the Scarlet Witch version of that. She's also another member of Payback. But what's interesting is as well, there's like this weird like sepia teal kind of like filter that's put on for all of the shots with like Soldier Boy and Crimson Countess, and some of the other shots that are kind of like where it almost looks like it's a war film. Like it looks like it's a film. Yeah, and I'm wondering if possibly maybe this is they're not actually going to be as big a deal as we think in the modern day. This is all going to be like some kind of like looking back at the history of superheroes and all this other kind of stuff. I wonder how much of a swerve it's going to be if they're not actually in present day, but they're just using them in a limited capacity. I don't know, as like a media propaganda thing. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that based on what you know about the show?
Yeah, well, the shot that we get of the Crimson Countess is of her basically glorifying two people, right? So I think it's a little bit safer to assume that is some kind of storytelling flashback, because I don't think that is them like filming a TV show within the TV show, like Dawn of the Seven, just because of that sheer gore factor, really. But who knows? Obviously, like this kind of like right-wing idea that they're trying to kind of like make a mockery of in this show. They have to go very intense for that exact reason. So, I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket. But yeah, I think she was one of the major castings up there with Soldier Boy. There were like 2 or 3 other members of Payback. Tech Knight was one, but by the point he kind of came in, he'd had his own like separate storyline in the comic books. There was one that was like bug related that flew. I think I'm just trying to remember. It has been all now. But yeah, they're all Avenger pastiches, so maybe we'll see little cameos there, but I'm not expecting anything major. I'm not even really expecting the Crimson Countess to be in it very much, to be honest with you. I think it's all about Soldier Boy.
Do you want me to go through the list of Payback and who the members are?
It'll probably jog my memory.
So we've got Soldier Boy as the leader. We've got Tech Knight, Airburst, Mindstorm, Crimson Countess, TNT Twins, And then you've got formerly Stormfront, Gunpowder, Eagle the Archer, and Black Noir was apparently in them at one point.
Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, no, I think there might have been like some spin-off comic books that I didn't read because I know that 2 or 3 of those members like weren't in the brief sort of arc that I saw, but they weren't like a massive part. There was kind of a scene where Butcher destroys pretty much all of them while they're walking through this warehouse, like one by one. It's a great scene. So they're not like a huge, a huge part of the comic books or anything like that, but you kind of like know and recognize them. I don't know. What part of like the season are you looking forward to the most?
It's hard to. So this show has been really difficult for me, right? Just to round off the trailer that we're talking about, there is another trailer, by the way, guys. I am aware that there's another trailer out there, but this one's kind of covering a lot of the bases. There's like a weird like musical number in this as well between Kumiko and Frenchie as well at some point, which is, I don't know what the hell that is, whether they're just having some kind of like, trip or whatever it is on Compound V maybe or something. I don't know. That weird flying guy as well. Yeah, I don't know who he is or what his deal is. Jensen Ackles seems to be coming out of some kind of like preservation tank as well at the end of one of the trailers. But there's a
person, right?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things to cover as far as this season is concerned. The Deep is also we don't really know what his story is going to involve. There's some shots in one of the trailers of him watching some people having sex, so that potentially could be part of Herogasm, which is supposedly going to happen. Drac, would you please give us a very clean version of what Herogasm is for those who don't know?
Very tough. That is a very famous arc that got brought up before the start of season 1 of The Boys, and it was because people were like, how are you going to adapt this in a way that you will actually get it on television, because it is so obscene. But the long story short is that Vought creates a cover once a year for all the heroes to go to an island for like an all expenses paid orgy, essentially an extreme orgy, where everyone gets with each other and other sex workers on the island, who all take like powdered versions of Compound V so that they can perform. And this is all under the cover of like a secret invasion. So they do a press conference, a public announcement. These aliens are coming from space. All the superheroes are needed. We all have to go at the same time. Then they all fly off into the sky, and then they all actually just fly to this island. And that is
big old banging session. Correct. What am I looking forward to this season? Obviously that. Can't wait for it. Love a bit of an orgy. Let's go for it. But I think that I'm interested to see. Honestly, I'm actually quite interested to see where the relationship between Huey and Starlight will go. I really like. I think that is a very earnest relationship between the two of them, and I've it's been very endearing to me to watch over the last couple of seasons. I'm really looking forward to seeing the Butcher beatdown of Homelander. Like I think this season, I think they've established that Homelander is kind of like a very fragile person mentally. With this, he is overwhelmingly powerful, but very fragile in his head. I want to see what happens when he finally shows that vulnerability of like, oh my God, there's somebody else who could actually hurt me. Like that's what I want to see, like where he actually gets to that point, because he's kind of experienced that, but then he's got a kid, it's like his kid is like the only person who could really physically intimidate him. And I want to see Billy physically dominate him. You know what I mean? Like just have that and then see what it does to his kind of mind in that respect. I'm super hyped for the season, man. I can't wait. I will be watching the first episode this weekend and kind of going through it. I'm sure we'll do a boys review at the end of everything. What are you most looking forward to? Herogasm, obviously, right?
Obviously, Herogasm. I really want to see Homelander's psyche like completely break. That sounds like really I don't know what the word is, like morbid and wrong, I guess. But this
appealing.
is the show. Yeah, and obviously, it's such a nice, weird way, refreshing change from like the run of the mill superhero genres that we get like day in day out for all how much we love it. This really like flips the kind of the bill, doesn't it? So always really appeals to us.
I will say there is always something about this. There's always something about this show that ends up really harrowing me after I've seen it. Like the first season, I found the first season when A-Train runs through Huey's girlfriend, I found that really harrowing, like really, really horrible. And then in the second season, ironically enough, when they murder the whale, I found that really harrowing. Like I found that really horrible. It stayed with me. I don't like seeing animals get hurt, and so it really, it really messed me up. What was it? Oh, the whole stuff with the deep as well in the first season with the gills and everything like that, and that was pretty horrible as well.
With Panel's voice, that was season 2.
Yeah, was it season 2? Sorry, but yeah, it's no, I don't know. I'm excited to be grossed out and intrigued at the same time by this season, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know if it would also be interesting to see how much they adapt from the comics, because again, it's another example of things where they don't strictly follow the comics. There are differences. The same with The Walking Dead did that with their when it was good, and Marvel do it currently. We were talking about it earlier on, so I'm excited to see where they go with it. And it's just cool, isn't it?
Can I discuss like a certain with enough warning as well? How The Boys essentially ends, and like how it might transfer into the comics. Like, so
spoilers for the books, guys. Spoilers for the books. So if you don't want to hear how it ends, then look away now.
Absolutely.
Go for it.
This is something that is a long time coming, but it might also put you onto some interesting theories, like for how the show chooses to interpret them. But anyway, the thing that interests me right now is the idea of giving Billy superpowers as well and only make it 24 hours. That's great because Billy's mission is that he hates superpowered people. And that really comes around full circle where he actually then eventually kills the boys in the long term. So that, having him only be powered for like 24 hours makes you wonder how these our favorite anti-superhero team are going to end up. And what I find really interesting as well is your comment on about Homelander feeling intimidated physically, because he is like the cream of the crop so far as like superpowered people go, to his knowledge. And Ryan might be taking this kind of like step in the show, but really what you want to do is watch out for Black Noir. That character has got a lot.
I know about Black Noir. I know about the secret behind who he is.
Yeah. So that is also going to be very interesting. So I won't spoil that part of it because I think that was, for me, one of my favourite parts of the books, and I wouldn't even want to do that to anyone else.
They can't do. So, again, full spoiler warning on this one, guys. Absolutely massive spoiler warning for the books of The Boys. But they can't do that Black Noir reveal now in the book. Like, they can't, because it's like, I mean, Homelander is proven to have done too much of this stuff. Like, how could it be like like the clone of Homelander doing all of this stuff in secret?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it can. The actor that plays, obviously, they're under no.
He's actually black, isn't he? Underneath it, we've seen it in season 1. He's actually black, so.
Yeah, although when I saw that, I kind of got the impression that was more like charred skin than, even though the actor himself is a tall black guy, I thought that was more of a like burnt skin kind of thing. They could just say not a clone, but they were like, this was the other Petri dish superhero that they made that, is like genuinely version. Yeah, but is there to check Homelander. And that's why, he is fully covered at all times. You have seen him use his superpowers in secret on stealth missions, and Edgar has sent him to go and kill the Iraqi terrorists and all these kind of things. So he has never shown his full abilities in front of Homelander, and that might be the purpose as well. So I still think there is going to be something going on there. But yeah, I'm really interested to see where that all goes, and everything with Victoria Newman as well. This is my last little, not even a spoiler, but there is a character in the comics called Vic the Veep, who is the vice president, who is a patsy kind of installed in government by Vought. But he is like a genuine idiot. And the Victoria Newman character who explodes heads in the show is the TV show version of that character. So I do think
okay.
Vice president after a while as well. I think that's where we'll end up on at the end of this season or the next one.
Interesting. Cool. Awesome. Well, guys and girls out there, what do you think is coming from Boys Season 3 and beyond? Do you think we were on the money? Do you think we were way off and they're going to go somewhere completely different and do some kind of normal orgy instead of a hero orgy? Who's to say? Who knows what's going to happen? An orgy, exactly. But there's one way to let us know, and that's to write in. So it's nerds_undisputed@gmail.com. Get in touch with us. Send us an email. You can reach Zane. He's out there on the gram. Just harass him. Just bother him. I don't really mind. You can also harass me. I am on the Instagram @GentlemanTheGamer. You can also find us on YouTube, on Facebook, everywhere that you would expect to find us. Drac, I assume you don't want to be bothered?
No, but if anyone needs me, I'll just be in this glass case.
Lovely. Beautiful. Oh, God, he's actually doing them. I'm so sorry, guys. He won't be back. So anyway, I'm kidding. Of course he will be. We love him. So, yes, you can also find me on Twitch. Sorry, twitch.tv/gentlemanthegamer, where I'm currently going through Doom Eternal and having a lovely time playing it on hard, which may have been a mistake. Guys and Drac, it's been an absolute pleasure. I will not be here next week. I am going away for the first time in 4 years on holiday, so it's going to be magical. You're going to have the wondrous Zane back to entertain you. He'll finally be able to make up one of the 4-0 that I've got on him at the moment. So it'll be good. I have no idea what he's going to talk about, and I've got no idea what he's going to do. But it'll be good to have him back. You may even find that he'll be calling you, Drac, and saying, "Can you do the show with me?"
Yeah, I might be on Anime next. We've been talking a lot about anime recently, so who knows? His
true love, Undisputed Anime. I'm waiting for him to say he's not going to do this with me anymore, and I'm going to have to take over the show. Anyway, regardless of whatever happened, guys, have a fantastic couple of weeks without me. It's been a pleasure. Stay safe out there. It's a crazy world, but stay safe and enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the boys. Drac, thank you once again. And everyone, we will see you next week.
Absolute pleasure.